Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Random Monday podcast on the Nerdball podcast feed. I'm here with two fellow podcasters who I'll let them introduce themselves and we will get into what their podcast is all about. Go ahead, guys. You introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Anthony Martinez.
I'm Frank Reyes.
So, you guys, one thing that really catches my eye with your podcast, like I said before we even started, I know nothing about wrestling. I grew up never even interested in wrestling, but I really enjoy are your like social media posts you make of your little cartoon characters of each other.
Yeah.
I really like that. Who does those?
That's me.
Yeah.
I had to use AI to make clips of or make a image of us two, and then like one image is me with my mouth open and his mouth closed, and then we have one where it looks like we're laughing.
Yeah.
One's him with his mouth open and closed. So then I have to take the video or I take the audio and then I have to like insert our specific picture where I'm talking and where he's talking. It's not a fun process, but
Seems like a lot of work.
Dude, I
Yeah.
didn't know you did all that. I'm not even gonna lie. Like all I do is edit the podcast, so I'm just like, Anthony's just using AI to do everything. I had no idea you were doing all that. I feel
I
so
might
bad. My
I
job's
might
so
be able to
easy.
do that, but I don't think I don't know what I would have to do that. So yeah, this is where we're at right now.
Coming
What
into
if
this podcast, I feel like the kid who barely does anything in the project. I'm like, I'm here, dude. Like, I'm here. I brought the crayons, the glue. I was like,
what's the name of your podcast?
One heel of a podcast.
And is 100% wrestling based podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
And before I get into more questions about your podcast, when you when you said you're part of the project, that's how I felt when I abandoned Anthony when we were trying to start a podcast.
Dude, the first podcast we ever did, Anthony was like, I have a spreadsheet and I have this, and then he like sent it to me, and I was like, I thought we were talking. I didn't know I had to read. I was not ready. I was like, dang, he's really professional. I had a headset for a microphone. I was not ready, dude. You're so legit.
I know that, and that's what I always like about Anthony's podcast or whatever. I mean, he's done a handful, but they're always like really, and maybe I think we've talked about this too before, Anthony. They're so involved where it's like, man, this is a lot of work to keep doing this and to do all these things, but they're all really good because of how much work you put into them, especially up front, the kind of work you
Yeah.
do. So, and I would imagine that this wrestling one is no different.
Yeah, I'm not good at like talking on the fly. Like that's even when I was doing stand up, I had to make sure I knew what my whole set was going to be before I went up on stage because I'm not good at just like thinking of a joke like even the jokes that I've done before, it's hard for me to like remember one of my jokes while I'm on stage.
Mm.
So I have to make sure I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about and this is the order we're going to talk about it in, which
Yeah. And I'm like
a lot of work.
completely up. I'm like completely opposite. Like I am off the fly nonstop. Like I'll take notes and I have things ready, but I will derail a podcast real fast because real quick. And you could always see Anthony on the other side, like the dad, like, all right, well, let's get back to this part of it. I'm like, yeah, my bad. Yeah, my bad.
Well,
That's on me.
sometimes that's good to have opposites like that because it brings a different perspective to whatever it is. Or, in your case, you might Anthony is saying something, and then you're like, it reminds you of something else, and you do go
Yeah,
on this tangent. But there's one of you to bring you back to where you were,
Yeah.
yeah.
because that's
There's
needed.
definitely one adult. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's one adult in the room for sure. And it's not me.
How did you guys decide, or why did you decide to make this podcast?
Go ahead. You
So
go.
we've been both into wrestling for a while. I think him longer than me. And then just I made a post on Facebook about wrestling, and then his brother messaged him like, "Hey, Anthony's into wrestling too." So then we've been watching it or like talking about it for a while, and then he just randomly messaged me saying, "Hey, let's do a podcast about wrestling." So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything else to go,
No,
to
I mean,
add there, Frank.
I feel like I'd always get little clips on like YouTube or whatever of people doing podcasts, and I'm like, dude, I could talk about wrestling, and I was like, Anthony's funny, he can talk about wrestling, and I think about whenever we watch like the pay-per-views and like live events together, I'm like, we're always cracking up the whole time, and I was like, we should just talk about wrestling. Like, and then it was funny, like I brought you that idea, and then within one day, you're like, okay, so I have an idea. What if we pick a promo and a match from the past and we talk about those? And then I was like, perfect. And then that was it. Like my whole idea was just to riff, and you were like, no, we can make some structure to this. And I think it worked out good. And like I said,
Yeah.
like you would say, dude, you're editing with all those clips. Anytime you send me a clip, I'm at work. And I'm like, I can't believe this dude's over there doing this right now. I'm sitting here thinking about nothing else. And then all of a sudden you're like, this clip's got us 3,000 likes. I'm like, what is going on?
We haven't hit 3,000 yet, but hopefully one day.
We can dream, Anthony. We can
I know,
dream.
I know.
So if someone's listening to this and they're into wrestling, how do you describe your podcast? Or is it just like wrestling this past week? Do you pick a match? You talk about a specific match? Do you like, what is it exactly?
Yeah, like Frank just said, we do a match and a promo from the past. So
Okay.
we talk about we'll pick a match and then we'll talk about that, kind of describe how the match goes. Sometimes we'll make jokes during it and then
right.
we will play a promo from the past as well. Usually they're like 2-minute clips. And then we talk about that. And then sometimes at the end we'll kind of talk about something going on right now in wrestling, but most of it is based on what the match and the promo are.
Yeah, and it's super lax. Like it's definitely like we try to be as accurate as we can. And it's for just like the real chill wrestling fan. I mean, there's definitely gonna be people who are like, hey, this is not how it went. And I'm like, you're probably right. But I also have 4 kids, and I just watched this a second ago. So why don't we chill out a little bit, buddy?
I know we're not sitting there doing like 8 hours of research
Yeah.
before a match or
My
before an
fa-
episode.
my favorites before when Anthony's like, so I just watched a 5-minute video on the summary of this match right before I called you. I'm like, sick. Me
Well,
too.
I think about that too because I love sports and I listen to a couple, Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo. They're really into basketball, but it's
Yeah.
just a sports podcast. And I think about like, yeah, this would be cool to try to do. But then I listen to what Ryan Russillo does during playoffs. He's like, yeah, I like my friends asked me to go out, and I was like, I can't. I got to watch this basketball game. I got to take all these notes, and then I got to watch it again. And then by the time I finish this one, then the next playoff game is on, and like I'm like, man, that's a lot. And then what really like is crazy is how much time and effort he puts into a weekend of basketball, and then he talks about it for 15 minutes, and then they're doing something else. You know what I mean? But I mean, but what he talks about is very interesting to me, and he's very good at it. And then he'll say like, and then at with 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in the second quarter, like all these it's cool because I don't have to do that. But then I think about it's like there's no way I could do like a sports podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes us even luckier is that we do like a past promo and a past match. So it's like we can talk about something that's happened already, and we don't have to be as current. So like at the end of the episode, if we do want to say something that's current to us, we can. But like, there's no pressure on us to be completely up to date all the time, which I think would like if we did a weekend highlight type of thing, I would probably lose my mind because you'd have to be current on everything all the time, and I'm like, I don't have that in me, dude. Like I catch up. How wrestling goes is there's a storyline, and it always leads up to a pay-per-view, right? And the pay-per-view always ends up either showing the finish to the story, or is the story going to keep going? So like to stay current, you have to watch every episode to know what's going on up to the pay-per-view. And so for me, I'm the type of dude where it's like I'll watch a few, miss a few, and then right before the pay-per-view, I'll watch like a Monday Night Raw and a SmackDown right before. So I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of know what's going on.
Okay.
So it's like it makes it a little easier that we're like, hey, let's pick a match from 1982 and a promo from 1995. Like, sure, let's do that. We can. I could be current with that.
How do you guys decide like what you're gonna podcast on?
Oh, it's so random. It is so random. Sometimes it lines up pretty good, but it is definitely by like our matches have been completely different every time, and our promos have been completely different every time. We're trying to like be as sporadic. I don't know. For me, I try to be as sporadic as possible. Anthony is really good at finding really good matches, and my matches are always like, yeah, there's 4 cool things that happened. I think we should watch that one.
Yeah, he definitely picks like the older matches for the most part, and I'm like not newer, but like in the 2010s kind of is where I'm picking matches from.
Okay.
So it's nice to have like we do opposite every week. So I'll pick the match and he'll pick the promo, and then next week he'll pick the match and I'll pick the promo. So we're not like staying on the same thing every time.
which is
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, because it would be like, well, yeah, because if you always did one, then you'd be way in the past or in the 2000s the whole
Yeah,
time. So
yeah.
that's a good idea. I like that. Um,
And
Go ahead.
and with the promos, he kind of tends to do like the funnier promos, and I kind of do like the more serious promos. Uh,
Yeah, for sure. I could tell you're so like for being my cousin, and I had no idea you watched wrestling like this. And then to when you watch when the stuff that you pick, you would think you've watched wrestling longer than I have. Like I always pick like the comedic things or the things I think that are semi entertaining, and you'll be like, I got this promo, and I'm like, dang, that was deep, dude. Like that was where'd you find that? That was so deep.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. What like is it? You guys just go on YouTube? You just search the internet? Like, how do you find exactly? Do you have like these specific wrestling websites you guys go to?
I just Google stuff. There's this one website that I can't remember at the time, but it ranks. It has like a rating system for all these promos, and so sometimes I go on there and it's like this is the top promo from this year,
Is it
and I'm
cage
like,
match?
okay, let's. What's that?
I said, is
It
it cage
might.
match? I think
It
it is.
definitely might be. I don't have my phone on me, so I can't tell you what it is. But yeah, that I'll just go on there and then pick that. Or sometimes what I'll do is like for the AJ Styles John Cena match, I just typed in like best match from this year, and
Oh,
then I'll look at that list and say which one do I want to do, and then I'll pick one. And I try to do ones that I haven't seen, and it's from wrestlers that I haven't really watched before, just so I can kind of get a good like learn about different wrestlers and how they wrestled.
Mm. Uh, so I was whenever you guys' stuff comes on, I watch it just because I'm interested because I know Anthony and now I know you too, Frankie,
yeah.
and so
Hello.
I like that kind of stuff where it's like, all right, these are people I know, these are what they're doing, and it's cool. So I liked the John Cena one, the one Anthony where you texted me and said, hey, you are 800th like or whatever, and
Yeah.
the reason I liked it is I just like because it's your stuff and I want to like your stuff. But I was wanted to ask a question. You guys cracked up so much about that sign, and I don't know anything about it. What is that sign that
Wait,
guy was
was
holding?
that the
The hefty, hefty,
the
hefty.
Oh
so
my
that's
God.
so that it's from that what was the
It's a
hefty garbage
hefty.
bags.
Yeah, dude, for
Okay.
It
sure.
was the commercial where the hefty wimpy, and it's just
Okay.
so they have
Like,
John Cena is hefty, and then AJ Styles is wimpy. Just
Okay.
and what's even funnier is when they do the hefty part, they always fill a garbage bag up with like a bunch of stuff and they lift it up and this garbage bag's all strong. And then when they do wimpy, they pick up the garbage bag as fast as they possibly can and it just completely
Explodes.
explodes like poof. And you're like, well, no, duh, dude. You just picked it up so fast. There's bricks in that one. I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, I was just going on your social media now, and I'm like, and I was looking at it. I was like, wait, has this been around a while? But then I realized, like, oh, are you just changing the name of your previous Facebook pages, Anthony?
Yeah, I changed the name of this one.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I'm not. I already had like two from previous podcasts, and I'm like, okay, which one has more followers at the moment? I'll just change this one because I'm not gonna make a whole new one and deal with that. So, yeah,
What do you guys think the hardest part of podcasting is?
doing it every week.
Yeah, dude. Finding the time, bro. I know he's a
Yeah.
dad of four, right? You got four?
hmm
And I got four in the house as well. It's like finding the time where everyone's quiet and
Yeah.
everyone's chill.
Yeah.
Like right now, look at that. Look at that dude right there. See what I'm saying? Everything was cool. And all it takes
But
is one towel. They're like, hey, what's up, bro?
so I got two kids.
Funny.
I got two kids too, but they're older, so they don't even really care about me anymore. So they're like,
Oh, bro.
my son's in his room going through cards, right? Pokemon cards right now. We're gonna go to a card show today, so we're gonna see if we can trade or sell
Oh, that's
anything.
sick, dude.
And then my daughter's not even here, but she's 10, but she's like 30 and she's so I don't have little kids running in the rooms anymore. So God, 4 kids. Both of you have 4 kids. I always used to make fun of Anthony because he has when he had 3, I felt like that was a Mexican amount of kids, and now 4.
Bro. Oh, you ready for the Mexican amount of kids? I actually have 5 kids. One of them lives in Florida, and he has a son. And my grandson is older than my youngest son. So that's how you know you're Mexican right there, man.
I know my dad had 13 brothers and sisters. So.
Woo!
Yeah, it's this wrestling podcast is when I know people that do things, it gets me into them a little bit more. So I have listened to one episode, so I don't know anything about it, but again, I like the process. I like hearing people that I know, and so it is a cool thing to podcast. I love podcasting, so whenever someone's like, "Hey, I want to start a podcast," or in this case, like, "I want Anthony to come on, you guys to come on and talk about it," like yeah, man, I love podcasting too. So I want people to do it and enjoy talking about it. So where can people get your podcasts? Is it available everywhere?
Just Spotify at the moment. If people are asking for other platforms, I'll put it on there. But at the moment, just Spotify. And then we have a TikTok and Instagram at One Heel of a Pod. So yeah, you can go follow us on TikTok is mostly where I post because it seems like Instagram just doesn't care.
Dude, I found for whatever reason YouTube Shorts are the ones where it picks up the most steam for
really
me. Yeah, and it's been that way for the past couple of months, but I post it on everything whenever I make my different promos and clips and stuff. But yeah, it's that's where it picks up the most steam. So if you can get a YouTube channel, throw it on there too, but that's great. I appreciate you guys coming on here. And hopefully we get some listeners for you guys, and feel free if there's ever you guys are doing something special or you guys just want to come back on, or at some point in the future you can come and we'll do an actual big show episode, or you can come in my parents' basement and we can record episode there. So again, guys, that's One Heel of a Podcast, available on Spotify, other platforms in the future, and search any social media for One Heel of a Podcast. Frankie, Anthony, thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Thanks for having us.